Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Ryan, listen up and thank you, KK and Ryan. It feels like I've never been on a podcast before. It's been about going on maybe 4 weeks, maybe more. It is great to be alongside of you. A late Thursday night going into the long weekend, and Ryan, NFL preseason underway. This is just another sign of UConn Huskies women's basketball getting closer and closer. Rye, can't wait to discuss this one with you, fella, because first of all, thank you for covering me in the last video, and thank you for going on by yourself. And we hope everyone catches this early on a great TGIF Friday morning, heading to work if they don't catch it late tonight. So, Rye, here we go. Breaking down the non-conference schedule one more time before the 25-26 season. And if you ask me, non-conference schedule, now, in conference schedule, yeah, that's important too. But if you ask me, I want to circle every game on the non-conference schedule. And you said, Phil, you can't do that. You got to pick which ones you think are the biggest. And Ryan, mind you, I don't see South Carolina for the first time, in a while on the schedule. But as I go through here, I'm looking at some of the big ones, looking like Louisville, Florida State, Ohio State, Michigan, Utah, USC in California, Iowa, Notre Dame, and Tennessee. So, Rye, again, I just want to name two or three teams to you, the big ones to watch for. But if you ask me, I'm excited for them all.
Yeah, it's kind of similar teams that UConn has faced over the past couple years now, but of course the non-conference schedule is always exciting because we get to see some new teams every now and then. Of course, we've covered some of these games when they've been released throughout this off season, and now of course we finally got the full non-conference schedule. And I think the only new announcement that we haven't heard or seen yet will be that UConn is hosting Loyola Chicago, and that's going to be the first ever matchup between those two teams. So that'll be a fun one to watch. First ever matchup, but just a quick rundown. Like you said, it looks like two exhibition games, one on October 13th, the other one on the 26th. And of course, we already knew the season opener in Germany against Louisville. That's going to be November 4th. And the home games will be Florida State, Loyola, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Tennessee. Away games or neutral site games will be against Louisville, Michigan, Utah, South Florida, USC, and Iowa. And now I'm excited for Ohio State playing a Big Ten team. It was also announced that UConn will travel to Columbus next year, so that'll be one to watch out for again next year. Go into USC, of course, that's going to be a fun game. Not sure if Juju will be playing or available. I doubt it, but we can hope that she will be available for that one. And Iowa, that's going to be one to watch as well. And of course, the big ones when we get towards the end of the season. I'm glad they're both home games. Maybe that'll make it a little bit easier for the Huskies. January 19th against Notre Dame and February 1st against Tennessee. So definitely some exciting matchups. No South Carolina, like you said. Perhaps we'll see them in March yet again. But I think the biggest storyline, I think, out of all this is UConn losing to those three teams last year. Remember the three teams they lost to: Notre Dame, USC, and Tennessee. And UConn has all of them on their schedule again this year. So UConn looking to avenge all three of those losses this season.
And without Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark, because if you remember, those were the storylines, right? And just those two players alone, mind you, how big them names are. You take them two away from the equation, Ryan, and you have a totally different media preview, game preview, right? So again, drop your comments in the video below. Jason D'Amico, shout out to everybody, all of our subs. We love you. We appreciate you all a lot. Like, comment, and subscribe. Rye, again, this is the final time we will review the non-conference schedule for the UConn Huskies women's basketball team. And Ryan, I don't know if you noted this or not. Just a quick takeaway. I saw you mention about the last two games being at home, and I didn't realize this until now. People's Bank Arena, formerly
Yeah.
the XL Center.
Yeah, I think that change was the first week of June. So yeah, no longer the XL Center. So that's definitely something we need to remember for the new season. Definitely need to get that one right.
All right, Ryan. Let's go down into comments. You did a very great job. Again, I appreciate you. While I was away, far away, out on the West Coast, enjoying a nice long weekend vacation. Ryan, again, thank you. Again, thank you for covering for me as you posted a great one, right? Shout out to Austin, all the Listen Up crew. The countdown is on, Ryan. This is comments from that last video. Actually, I look at this now. It's been what, about 2 weeks ago, I guess. Thank you, first of all, for all the birthday wishes, each and every one of you. Let's go over to Stuart Rich. Rye, you should address USC's grabbing the #1 recruits for 25 and 26. When teams have three #1s, they win national championships, just like UConn did last year. Juju won't be back this year.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, I have been keeping up with a little bit of the rankings and some of the announcements throughout the off season. I did see where UConn fell short of a player's top five. I was trying to look up the name of her now. I think JC Abbey. So she had UConn in her top 10 list in June, but it looks like her five finalists: UCLA, LSU, Texas, Notre Dame, and Tennessee. So unfortunately, UConn's going to miss out on her as well. But we definitely have some players in the works, and I think some players that still have UConn on their list for the upcoming seasons. But yeah, that's I think that could be an idea that we could still do during the off season, try to cover some of the recruiting classes for the upcoming years.
Listen to this one. The disruptive one says Watkins being out for the season weakens South Carolina a bit, in my opinion. But then, Ryan, I'll combine them together. Joseph Patty said, UConn gonna be undefeated this season. No team can beat them this year. Whoa. Are we going back,
I'm
Ryan? Are we going back? Or are we throwing it back? Throwback time to the years where you and I were not found yet. Our faces weren't seen, but UConn just kept winning and winning and winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bold statement, but it's hard to. I mean, it's hard to say any team can go undefeated no matter who's on the team. But certainly, UConn has had a couple runs in the past couple years where they had that 100 plus wins in a row. But I think with the talent on this team, I definitely don't think it's out of the picture, out of the question that they could possibly go undefeated. Of course, a couple tough non-conference games that we just mentioned. I think Tennessee, that last one in February, I think that's going to be a really tough game, but a couple other ones as well. But I don't think it's out of the question that this team could definitely go undefeated.
All right, let's go over to one more. BRN Soldier said, "Hey Phil and Ryan, I was wondering where you was, but I understand it's about content. I always say it's all about chemistry. We can have all the best players, but still get beaten by a team who plays amazing together. Once this team finds its identity and everyone knows their part, we will be scary." Well, we're right here, Ryan. We promised we didn't go anywhere, and summer's coming to an end, and I'm ready for it to end.
Yeah, I think that's, a similar theme for each and every season. I think that's what usually separates UConn from a lot of these teams is the chemistry. We don't really talk about it each season, but I think that is a quality that separates them from a lot of the teams that they play. each and every season, these girls coming together, forming those bonds and that great chemistry throughout the off season, summer workouts, and all of that, and the practices, how hard they go each and every practice. Gino and the coaches pushing them, and that's a great place to build the chemistry for those two exhibition games. Even though they don't count towards the record, maybe they're weaker opponents, it'll still be fun to watch and see how that chemistry is looking about, a little less than a month before the actual regular season first game. Of course, those both being in October. But yeah, I think chemistry is always one of the most highly touted, qualities that a team could have.
All right, we'll leave it there, and hopefully it won't take 2 or 3 weeks again until I see your face right here on Listen Up. Rye, again, we want to remind everyone to drop their comments below. Which teams on the non-conference schedule will give UConn the hardest challenge, the toughest challenge in 25-26? Phil and Rye on Listen Up.